Welcome back to Paris Top Tips. For the second and final part of my Paris Like a Local 9 Essential Walks with Maps and Highlights video. Paris is a city made for walking, where every street tells a story and every turn reveals something magical. Today, I'm sharing 9 incredible discovery walks that take you beyond the usual tourist spots. We'll explore the most renowned neighborhoods of Paris, but through the eyes of a local, uncovering hidden gems, secret corners, and breathtaking views. For each walk, you'll get a downloadable map, a list of must-see stops, the walk's length, its difficulty level, and all the details to make the most of your adventure. Let's dive in. Let's move on to our third walk in the 18th-19th century elegance category, in one of the most beloved neighborhoods for visitors, Saint-Germain-des-Prés, a district filled with history, literary cafes, and timeless charm. I classified this walk as grade 1, meaning it is fully accessible for wheelchairs and strollers. With wide sidewalks, smooth paths, and no steep inclines, it's an easy and enjoyable stroll through one of the most elegant neighborhoods in Paris. We start our stroll from Metro Odéon, lines 4 and 10, facing the statue of Danton, one of the most important figures of the French Revolution. Danton once lived on Rue du Commerce, now Cours du Commerce Saint-André, which leads us to our first highlight. Pubs and old-fashioned tea rooms line this cobbled street, built on the site of Philippe Auguste's medieval fortifications. Though not one of the major highlights of Paris, it's one of my favorite places to wander. A short walk away, we reach the Luxembourg Gardens, one of the most beautiful green spaces in Paris. Created in the early 17th century for Queen Marie de Médicis, it's a favorite spot for Parisians and visitors alike. Stroll along the tree-lined promenade, admire the Medici fountain, or relax by the pond while watching children sail their little wooden boats. The Palais du Luxembourg, now home to the French Senate, adds a touch of grandeur to this peaceful oasis. Continuing our walk, we reach the legendary cafes of Saint-Germain, where history and culture come alive. First, let's get inside Les Deux Magots, a cafe that holds historical significance as the former rendezvous point for France's literary and intellectual elite. These are the two Magots, two wooden statues depicting Chinese Mandarin. Les Deux Magots is renowned for its breakfast offerings, rightly so according to me. Just a stone's throw away, on Boulevard Saint-Germain, here is the Café de Flore. In this beautiful Art Deco space, or on the terrace overlooking the boulevard, a fusion of celebrities, locals and tourists create a vibrant atmosphere. Whether under the veranda or out on the terrace when the weather allows, sipping a drink here is always a delightful experience, especially while enjoying one of the locals' favorite pastimes, people watching. But this experience comes at a price. Expect to pay €8 for a simple Coke. Did you know that the neighborhood takes its name from the church of Saint-Germain-des-Pres, which was originally part of an abbey founded in the 6th century? Here, you are in the oldest church in Paris, surviving centuries of wars and transformations. Inside, you find stunning medieval frescoes, towering stone columns, and a peaceful, spiritual ambience. This church is a true hidden gem that often surprises visitors with its beauty. Our last stop is the Musée d'Orsay, which, since 1986, is housed in a former Beaux-Arts railway station built for the 1900 World's Fair. The superb collection of sculptures and paintings at Orsay covers the period from 1848 to 1914, the Louvre being dedicated to what came before. There are superb works of art everywhere, but if you are in a hurry, the fifth level is where the most masterpieces can be found. That said, the ground floor also features absolutely stunning works of art, including paintings and sculptures. We are now on the fifth level. This place with the clock on its view of Paris is a famous Instagram spot. People line up to take a picture. Back to paintings with this Déjeuner sur l'herbe from Edouard Manet. And on the wall opposite to it, this lantern on the grass by Claude Monet was painted in response to Manet's work. This sun breaking through the fog at the London Parliament House is one of my favorite Monet's paintings. It's difficult to get in front of what is perhaps my favorite painting ever, The Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. That's it for our Saint-Germain neighborhood discovery walk. You'll find a downloadable map in the description below, as well as the link to watch the full-length video of it. We are now entering our last theme for these walks, modern and panoramic Paris, where we'll explore areas that offer breathtaking views and a more contemporary feel. Our first stop is Montmartre, a neighborhood that has long been a symbol of Parisian bohemian life. Heart of the 20th century artistic scene, home to painters like Picasso and Modigliani, it was later immortalized in Charles Aznavour's songs La Bohème. Even today, as you wander its cobblestone streets and charming squares, you can still feel the echoes of that creative and rebellious spirit. Unlike other parts of the city, Montmartre isn't about major landmarks apart from the Sacré-Coeur, but rather about atmosphere, with its quaint squares, old staircases, and village-like charm. However, this walk comes with a challenge. I've classified it as grade 4 for difficulty, as Montmartre is filled with steep streets and stairways. To make the ascent easier, I start the walk from Métro La Marque-Colincourt, line 12, so there are fewer stairs to climb. Alternatively, if you prefer to skip the uphill walk, you can hop on bus line 40, which will take you straight to the top. Place des Abbesses is one of the most picturesque squares in Paris. Its Art Nouveau metro entrance, designed by Hector Guimard, is a classic symbol of old Paris. Nearby, the Wall of Love, Mur des Je t'aime, is a romantic spot, featuring I love you, written in over 300 languages. Montmartre isn't just about landmarks, it's about atmosphere. As we wander its winding cobblestone streets, we pass quaint cafes, hidden staircases, and ivy-covered houses, reminders of the bohemian artists who once lived here, from Picasso to Van Gogh. Beyond Sacré-Coeur, the crowds thin out, revealing Montmartre's secret side. the vineyard of Montmartre, a glimpse of its rural past, the quiet Place Dalida, and the last windmills of Paris, all adding to the timeless charm of this unique neighborhood. At the top of the hill, Place du Tertre is where artists set up their easels, continuing a long tradition. While it can be very touristy, thus crowded, it's still a must-see, capturing the artistic soul of Montmartre. If you've ever wanted a hand-drawn portrait, this is the place. No visit to Montmartre is complete without the Sacré-Coeur Basilica, perched at the highest point in Paris. Its white domes are visible from all over the city. The mosaic in the apse, entitled Christ in Majesty, measures 471 square meters and is one of the largest mosaics in the world. And the dome rises to 83 meters. The first stained glass windows, installed between 1903 and 1920, were destroyed during World War II and replaced by contemporary stained glass. The view from the front steps is one of the best free panoramas in Paris. But if you pay and climb up the dome, it's simply exceptional. That's it for our Montmartre Discovery Walk. You'll find a downloadable map in the description below, as well as the link to watch the full-length video of it. We are now entering our second walk in the Modern and Panoramic Paris series, exploring the Eiffel Tower neighborhood in the 7th arrondissement. Unlike Montmartre, which was full of staircases, this is an easy, perfectly flat walk, accessible to everyone, though it's more than 7 kilometers long. This area is home to some of Paris's most iconic landmarks, from the Golden Dome of Les Invalides to the elegant Pont Alexandre III, and of course, the Eiffel Tower itself. But beyond these famous sites, it also offers very interesting museums, stunning sculptures, and grand historic buildings. Let's get started and check the highlights. For this neighborhood discovery, I designed a loop that starts from the École Militaire station on Metro Line 8. From there, just walk 300 meters and you are at one of Paris's most striking buildings, the Dome of the Invalides, home of Napoleon Bonaparte's tomb. The dome is part of the Hôtel des Invalides, a complex of buildings containing museums and monuments, all relating to the military history of France, as well as a hospital and a retirement home for war veterans, the building's original purpose. The dome is one of the prime exemplars of French Baroque architecture, at 107 meters high. Commissioned by Louis XIV, it's an iconic symbol of France's absolute monarchy. From absolute monarchy, France transitioned to the Napoleonic Empire following the brief interlude of the French Revolution. In 1840, Napoleon was laid to rest beneath the Dome of Les Invalides with great ceremony. If the most notable tomb at Les Invalides is that of Napoleon, Other military figures and members of Napoleon's family are also buried at the Dome Church. Among the most famous, we find Marshal Foch, the supreme Allied commander during World War I. Marshal Lyautey, dubbed the French Empire Builder, is also buried here. And Joseph Bonaparte, Napoleon's elder brother. This is the entrance to the crypt where the sarcophagus of Napoleon is to be found. This sarcophagus in quartzite contains 5 coffins, one made of tin, one in mahogany wood, 2 of lead, one in ebony wood, heated into each other around Napoleon's remains. Napoleon's son, Napoleon II, who held the title of Emperor of the French for just 2 weeks, is also laid to rest in the crypt. On the gallery wall are 10 large relief panels which celebrate Napoleon's achievements. One of the most famous is certainly the Napoleonic Code, which not only is the French civil code still in force, but the base of the civil codes of many countries, especially in South America. The dome is in fact an independent chapel to a much larger church, the Saint-Louis des Invalides Cathedral. Behind the altar, on a glass window, is the dome chapel that we just visited. Saint-Louis is now the cathedral of the Diocese of the French Armed Forces. Thus, the Court of Honor is used to pay tribute to soldiers killed in operations and for military ceremonies. 60 cannons are placed there. Les Invalides also houses the Museum of the French Army, as well as the Museum of Plan Relief, a very interesting museum of military models. The museum displays 28 plan relief, or relief plan, of fortifications along the English Channel, the Atlantic and Mediterranean coasts, and the Pyrenees Mountains. Among the many rooms of the Army Museum, the medieval room is, in my opinion, the most interesting. Among other things, a fascinating room on Japanese military art. The main entrance to Les Invalides overlooks the Seine, on the other side of the gigantic Esplanade des Invalides. But for our walk, let's go out towards the dome instead. The Musée Rodin is primarily dedicated to the works of the French sculptor Auguste Rodin, who is generally considered the founder of modern sculpture. Rodin's masterpiece, The Thinker, is exposed in the garden of the museum, right by the entrance. This mansion, the Hôtel Biron, was Rodin's workshop. Rodin donated the Hôtel Biron his entire collection of sculptures, along with paintings by Van Gogh, Monet and Renoir that he had acquired, to the French state on the condition that they turned the buildings into a museum dedicated to his works. This is Auguste Rodin, sculpted by Camille Claudel, student and model for Rodin, and soon his collaborator, associate, and lover. In the beautiful gardens are many other large statues created by Rodin over the years. For example, this statue of the French author Balzac. Another famous French author, Victor Hugo. The Three Shades. And the Burghers of Calais, other masterpiece of Rodin. The Pont Alexandre III is often considered the most elegant bridge in Paris. Its ornate lamp posts, gilded statues and stunning views of the Seine make it an essential stop. Built between 1896 and 1900, it boasts exuberant Art Nouveau lamps, cherubs, nymphs and winged horses at either end. This is Le Grand Palais. The bridge is named after Tsar Alexander III of Russia, who had concluded the Franco-Russian alliance in 1892. Next on the stroll is the Branly Museum, Musée du Quai Branly Jacques Chirac in full, named after where it is located and after the former French president who made it created. It's not only a museum, but also a very pretty public garden. The museum features indigenous art and cultures of Africa, Asia, Oceania, and the Americas, with 3,500 objects on display. Opened in 2006, it is the newest of the major museums in Paris. But you can't film there, so here are 3 photos taken in the museum. Our walk comes towards its end at the Eiffel Tower, undoubtedly the most famous landmark in Paris. I created a dedicated video to help my viewers make the most of their visit to the Eiffel Tower. If you're interested, be sure to check it out. There are hundreds of things to see during this walk, and you can explore them all in the full-length video, link in the description. That's it for our Eiffel Tower neighborhood discovery walk. As usual, you'll also find a downloadable stroll map in the description. Our final walk takes us somewhere quite different from the lively neighborhoods we've explored so far, the Père Lachaise cemetery. This is not just a burial ground, it's a place steeped in history, art and emotion. I've crafted for you a map for the stroll that will allow you to explore the Père Lachaise cemetery extensively, ensuring you witness the graves of the most celebrated individuals buried here. Naturally, during our journey we'll come across numerous other intriguing tombs, belonging to both perfectly anonymous individuals and celebrities alike. The cemetery is expansive, covering 44 hectares, making it the largest green space in Paris. The uneven cobblestone walkways and narrow paths can make walking challenging, so I've classified this stroll as level 4 in terms of difficulty. The sheer number of famous figures resting here is astounding, and the atmosphere, with its winding paths, centuries-old trees and beautifully sculpted tombs, has a deeply romantic and contemplative charm. This is a brief overview of the more in-depth video I've published on this stroll. You'll find the link to it in the description below. For now, let's focus on the highlights with minimal commentary from me. And with this, we've reached the end of our 9 essential walks through Paris. From historic streets to panoramic views, each stroll has revealed a different side of the city. If you want to dive deeper, check out the maps and full-length videos in the description. Thanks for walking with me. See you on the next adventure.